Hi everyone, this is Bic Benedict. We're resuming our campaign on not Master Ninja, very hard difficulty. On Ninja Gaiden 1, we're on the military supply base. It's chapter 9 of 16 total chapters. So here you want to have your strongbow equipped for the upcoming fights. And I'm going to talk over this first battle because we're just dealing with enemies we've dealt with in the previous chapter quite a bit. But before you get to the locomotive turntable, you need to make sure that you have everything you want, because up until then you could go back as many times as you want to, buy items, and refill your health and mana at the Xbox near Han's bar, and do upgrades, and like I said, buy items. Because the little boss gauntlet that starts with the tanks and ends with the radio tower, that takes a lot of items, because if you get hit a lot, you're gonna need to re-heal, and you don't want to be stuck on like the chopper sequence, for instance, and only have hardly any healing items, because then you're going to be completely stuck. And unless you have another save file, then you're going to be even more in a bad situation, because then you can't go back. So you might want to start a new save file over here, actually. If you know, just in case. I didn't, because I know how I don't want to be caught in a situation like that. So up ahead we have one guy in a tower. Actually, two guys in these gun turrets here. So take this guy out, and inevitably, what's going to happen is we're going to have to take out the other guy, but we're going to get shot at during the process, because you can't target him without crossing a tripwire point. So even this is crossing the tripwire point, and he's out of my range. So I have to just do the best I can, and just quickly fire arrows. Hopefully you don't have guys shooting rockets at you, but it can happen. So if that happens, just move around a little bit and try to get those arrows up there as quickly as you can. You might be able to toss with the windmill shuriken up there, so have that equipped like I do, and take out this thing, and you might actually be able to take out that turret if you really are in a bind. But this right here, you can't focus on making money. You have to focus on not getting hit too much, and offsetting anything you do get hit by with getting blue essence. So have your Armlet of the Moon equipped, definitely. And do the Izuna drop. That's a very, very safe move to do. And the splash damage took care of some enemies right there. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking not to charge attacks with blue essence, but to heal myself. Because this is just very difficult. You're going to get guard locked here, like I am right now. Can't move, can't evade, can't do the reverse wind. And I'm going to pick up the key after the battle, because I like to earn my card key. I don't like to just get it right away. So feel free to save it after this and after the next section. Just be very confident, though, going into the fights, the bosses, that you have enough supplies. And I don't just mean healing items. I mean Nimpo, because the Inferno takes out that tank pretty damn well. So if you have enough of that, you'll be set for that boss. So yeah, we have a couple of turns. We have the tanks, then we have the chopper. The chopper's not that bad, actually. It's just the tanks. There's two tanks, and you know, you've got 2 life bars for each of them. And we're going to be taking a lot of their health away with the core rods, steel rods. But you still might going to need some Nimpo to you know, so you don't have to do all the work. Let some of the Nimpo do the work for you. So here we're going to get the explosive arrows for the first time, and go in this door here. And there's a chest to the left I'm going to ignore for now. To get this golden scarab, we do a vertical wall run, and then you press the Y button at the height of your wall run. So I didn't know this would be such a good item here. This is a great item, even though it's just one use of the Nimpo. That could come in handy. That could maybe take out the boss when you're at the cusp of death. So there's Life of the Gods number 3 of our new set. And we have the flying drones coming up, and I just detest these enemies because they're just big nuisances, even though they're very tiny flying objects. You see that chest? I'm going to ignore that chest right now because you get some health from it, so I want to give myself a little more health than what it would give me because I already have my health almost filled. So what I'm going to do is speed this footage up because it's real laborious and just boring to watch. So I stay up here for a while, and then I do a wind run and land down here, and then I just figured I might as well try to take these guys out down here. It's equally as effective up there too, but down below you have a little bit more protection, I would say. But then you've got to move around more, and I don't know. I feel if you're killing something, you should actually get something back, but these guys give you absolutely nothing. I think it's only in these versions. This game and Ninja Gaiden Black, they don't give you anything. I know they give you stuff in Sigma, but when I was doing that guide, I didn't know the principle of dragging essence. So there's the 20th one. He's dead, and that's all you need to kill, just 20. So now I'm going to go over here and get this item, which I could have just got. Actually, it would have been detrimental to the situation because you see, it says I can't carry anymore. So I'm going to apply what I can and pick up the new one, and then go up to the next section. We can proceed. There's no more enemies. In Ninja Gaiden Black on Master Ninja, you would have some enemies by the office. There's like 3 of them, but not here. So very, very nice. Sometimes also I just don't even center the camera behind myself when I'm running. I just tire of pressing the right trigger. I'm sure a lot of people can empathize with me, but I do have a skip up here, so I'm not going to be accessing both of the controls that activate the platforms, the moving platforms. The one that you need to press is to the left, but I don't need to press it, and you don't either. So just jump off here, and then we're going to activate the only lift that we need to jump on, which is controlled by this button right here. So press this button, and it's going to activate this lift, because that's all we need to do to get up there. That's all we need. So same deal as when we got that golden scarab by doing the vertical wall running and then pressing Y. So get on to this car here. You will have to do a couple jumps, but it's not too bad. And then you bypass a couple jumps, so that's the thing. So I did fall over here, so you'll see an edit. But jump and press X, Y there works really well. Because the reason I didn't make this jump was because I didn't press X, Y. But here you don't need to press X, Y when you're jumping. Just do a standard jump. And then this box over here will contain a great potion. And the box coming up is going to contain a low potion. And since I'm maxed out, I just figured I'll use it now and get the next one so I can have maxed out low potions. And remember, this is your last chance to go back and save it and buy stuff, because you can't go back once you get to the locomotive turntable. It's like another section of the level, and it's just cut off. It's just that way. So grab the card key. There's also a map you can grab in there, but definitely remember to get this golden scarab up here, and just feel free to jump off. There's no fall damage in this game, obviously. So in past guides, I've just taken out these guys without saving first, but prudence ruled out over here, and it's high time that actually did rule out, and I stopped being so reckless over here, because I always get into a bind over here, and I just don't want that to happen. It happened when I was playing hard mode, so this I can't use currently, but at least I can go save it. And it was good that I saved it, because I did a couple trial takes where I just got hit too much, and I wasn't getting enough blue essence drops to offset what I was getting hit. So this actually turned out to be a really good run. So definitely want to focus on flying swallows, even though it can kind of come off as cheap, repeatedly doing the flying swallow. But hell, it's the most effective thing you can do practically. because it loosens the enemies up, and then you can go in for Azuna drops or just simple slashes like XX triple Y like I did right there. And I'm going to wind path off his head, and unfortunately I absorbed the blue essence right there, so I couldn't expedite a UT. But I believe I do get at least one UT, but I'm not focusing on UTs because you waste more money using more healing items. So if you can not use too many healing items, then you'll actually start saving money in the long run, so you don't have to actually spend the 1500 per low potion. But you see my health is all the way filled up, and it will recede a little bit, but I'll probably get some more health drops, and I'll be going into the first boss fight in good shape. So there is a fortunate UT, but if you focus on those, you're just going to get interrupted and possibly impaled by these guys, and it's just a no-win situation. So limit it very greatly. Just limit that. And just try to put it out of your mind, and have equipped the Armlet of the Moon. It goes without saying, although I just said it right there, so it's needless. But for the next part, your loadout should definitely have the same thing, the Armlet of the Moon. You want that equipped. It doesn't matter what weapon you use, although I just like to have the Dragon Sword on. But make sure you have the cores, the core rods, because those take away more than the explosive arrows. I've tested it when I played hard, and I've tested it also on the chopper. Both of those things, the explosive arrows take a lot less. So here's the final guy right here, and even though you don't see me save it, excuse me, just bear in mind that I didn't go to the save point just for the sake of the guide, so I could expedite this next section. But here you go, just go through the door, and here's the next battle. Okay, we're going to be dealing with the twin tanks up ahead, but we don't have to fight them both at once. It's just one at a time here. So I'm going to use the Inferno right away to give myself some iframes and to deal damage to this guy. So my plan was to use the Talisman of Rebirth that I have from way back when we got it, and fire off the Inferno until I've exhausted my key, and then go to town with shooting arrows at him. But it's very hard to get off a shot over here, because you got the guy in the turret who will guard lock you, and then when you're guard locked, you'll get hit by rockets. So the best place for this thing to be is right over there, so you can hit him. Look how much damage it takes off, and he can't hit you. But you do have to be, centered behind that box right there. And I think right there he got his wheel stuck or something. I've had that happen to me before. But they really fixed this up in Sigma to the point where you can actually jump and fire an arrow. But this feels really broken, and it feels like they just put no thought into making this. So I try sometimes to land and fire an arrow, but you have to aim first of all to deal more damage to him. And you've got to aim, but the second you fire off that round, you're likely to get driven back by a rocket. It's so frustrating. There's really I don't think there's anything more frustrating than getting driven back by an explosive in this game, by a tanker, by an enemy with a rocket launcher, anything like that. So he's in a good position right here, so now I just need to get up behind this box. Hopefully he'll stay put. Now I can nail him with some good hits, and he cannot hit me until he moves, and then he just moved. So you really need a lot of items on this boss and the next boss, like I mentioned. So you really, if you start leaving comments saying you weren't prepared, well, I did prepare you from the beginning of this chapter. I stated that you needed to bring a lot of items here, because you don't want to get trapped here with hardly any resources and no prior save point to fall back on. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen. So I have no more Nimpo, and I just need a few more hits to get off of him. And you see that right there? That was a quick shot that I did, but it didn't damage him too much. There are times, like when the cannon's not being pointed at you, but it seems like that it only lasts a second or two, and then that cannon swivels right around 360 degrees and hits you. So I'm going to use a spiritual elixir here, and watch this. Took him out, but it was a real hassle. It's so bad. I can't really explain how horrible that is unless you played Sigma first and then play that. You'll see a marked difference. Okay, so there's no monolith down here. That didn't come until Sigma, so you won't be able to get that. I mean, there's no monoliths to interact with in this game. So we're going to be dealing with a chopper ahead. You still want your cores, your core rods, your APC cores or whatever they are. Steel rods. And you want the armlet of the moon. This whole time you want the armlet of the moon because you need to be resilient when you're getting hit. So these guys here, I just decided to waste some nympho because I got sick of these guys. Now when the chopper spawns, they're going to point you to the right. So aim straight ahead and start hitting him. And then aim up. See how I'm aiming consistently upwards as he's moving in that direction? So now he's going to go in this side, and what I like to do when he's over here is go behind this box over here where these rockets cannot hit me. And the more times he goes under this overpass or this bridge or whatever it is, it's like just an overpass. The more better you could beat him. More better. I'm really making my words count today, aren't I? Fuck. But he's got a couple patterns, and the pattern that I always like to get him is where he goes under the bridge more without so many he'll go all around the place in a really like he doesn't go around the circumference of, I don't know, this guy drives me crazy. That's all I can say, because you know his rockets are hard to dodge, so I use nympho. But I could beat him no matter what, because he'll always go under the overpass. I mean, it just depends how much does he want to not go under it. So fire 3 or 4 shots here. If you can get 4 to stick, go with 4. And then just be aware that he's going to fire rockets right close to this point. So he's also pretty vulnerable here, but I don't really mess around with him too much as far as firing arrows until I see him going under that bridge, or unless he flies overhead on this bridge like right now, because all he's doing right here is shooting bullets, which does take chip damage from you. He also has an attack where he drops grenades, and they're a little bit harder to dodge because when you dodge, you've got to compensate for the fact that the camera's going to switch, and also it takes a ton of damage off you. So here he's going under. I believe he was going under. No. But that's a great place to stand right there. But fortunately, there's only one place like that exists here. You can kind of get away with it on the box with the arrows, but you've got to really time your rolls effectively. And I would just prefer to drop nympho. So he's going to go into the... Oh, he didn't go into the bridge. If I could just get him to go under the bridge, he will be dead. And I have tested pretty extensively which arrows are better, and these are much better than the explosive arrows. They don't take away as much, the explosive arrows, that is. So whenever he's on that side, just be really fortunate, because you're likely to not even get hit hiding behind that box. I mean, you won't get hit unless maybe your rocket goes around at a bad angle or something like that, but here he's going to be dead, and that's good riddance. So you should have this next golden scarab you get, that'll be number 25. And unfortunately, when you give it to Marimasa, he gives you nothing. So I don't know why that is. Maybe it's to distribute the items evenly. But I received absolutely nothing for giving him 25. So we're doing the radio tower sequence next. And this sequence can be extremely difficult and frustrating to the point where you're going to want to pull your hair out. Or it could be pretty manageable, even though it still might be a little frustrating with the guy still on the rooftop over here, whom we're going to leave. So, I switched to my explosive arrows, not for any particular reason. It only takes 1 shot per satellite. However, I just wanted the explosive arrows. So, you need to leave one guy alive up here. and then shoot the radio tower satellites, because if you kill all these guys, then you're going to have to shoot the satellites, but you're going to have like 3 guys on every level of that radio tower shooting explosive weapons at you, and it's going to make aiming and shooting up there damn near impossible. So if you leave one guy and then start shooting at the tower, then you only have to worry about getting chip damage from the guy behind you, and you will get breaking out of your stance here. Watch this. See, at some point you'll get broken out of your aiming stance, but you can also get impaled if he comes up too closely. But for the most part, it's either do you want to have just one guy on the rooftop messing with you a little bit, or do you want to have like 10 or 12 enemies on that thing shooting at you and preventing you from even shooting one explosive arrow up there. So it's a choice that I know the answer to very easily. So we're going to get a high potion right here, a high mana potion, and that's all good. And so equip your windmill shuriken right here and take these drones out. A very superfluous and unnecessary enemy in my opinion. No better than the bats. So don't get worried. Don't worry about getting knocked down. You'll just end up by Maramosa's shop. And then we have some enemies down the way. This is always kind of frustrating because, yeah, getting knocked back. That's the story of this level pretty much. So what I was trying to do was the flying crane. I did it right there, and you'll see how effective that move is when I come back in here and slay 3 enemies at a time with this one move, and they were at full HP. So I didn't get it to work right there, but I had it on my mind to do it when I came back. So the reason I go back in this door right here is because when I was playing on hard mode, the enemies, I got 3 more spawners right over here, and they didn't drop the card key. They won't drop a card key until you go down the elevator. But you might be able to get those spawners up there if you want extra kills. Maybe try to get your Master Ninja rank. Maybe I didn't go far enough away from the door, but I do know you have to at least come down here and probably go in this door for those guys to appear up there and then drop that key that you need. So there's a Life of the Gods over here, and I'm not going to even interact with the door because I know it's just going to say that it's locked. So now we're going to go back up and get the card key we need. I don't know what Life of the Gods that was. In the next chapter, I will definitely we'll pull up that sheet and see what we have. So the flying crane is simply a 360 Y. That's all you need to do. You don't. It's on a charge. It's not the charge like the Gleaming Blade attack. A thing of sheer beauty right there. So there's a control room key. We're going to go down now, and I'm also going to include the section after where we go into the sewers, and we have that really bizarre spawning glitch that always happens over here. And you think they would have fixed that? It's such a glaring issue. Those lesser fiends that never spawn until you run around like an idiot waiting for them to come. So, what was I doing here? I was just looking around for a second. Maybe I had to get some water for a second. Okay, so that's the end of the level, and I didn't get the Master Ninja rank, but I don't care. Got Gaiden Ninja. Normally, if I get the Ninja Dog, I'm very, very proud of myself. I love that Ninja Dog. Once I read on my Twitter page, Ninja Dog and proud, because I was. So there's a Life of the Gods right there. Some more explosive arrows in this. So we've ran past this area a lot in our campaign, but we've never been able to go in here because the door is locked. Now you can go back in it in subsequent levels anytime you desire to, if you want explosive arrows, if you don't want to buy them. So the enemies should spawn like when you run back, but there's no real way to make this. I can't tell you how to make these enemies spawn. You just have to run around for a while. And it's really regrettable that this kind of shit happens, but it's not too bad. It's not like they never come. They will eventually come. Okay, so I think they're probably going to come out of the sewer right over here. I'll get that cutscene. I'm going to get stopped in my tracks right over here. Yep, there we go. Now, these are lesser fiends. We haven't dealt with these guys yet, but they're just an upgraded version of the slasher enemies with the light oranges skin that we fought many times over in the Fiend Challenge, for instance, the last Fiend Challenge we did. Well, I guess it would have been 2 Fiend Challenges back. But I don't think these guys can break your guard. I'm pretty sure about that. They're just as fast and as wily as the other guys. Hard to Azuna drop unless you stun them. But not too bad of an enemy. So we're going to UT that guy, and then we're going to go down and into the sewer, but not before the game has to load before we drop down there.